So, are you the happiest boy? You got to play Infinity, and now you got to play Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
I got to see a really long demo back at GDC, like a 30-minute demo, but you actually got to play it. So, and I think everyone at this point saw the gameplay that they showed, the gameplay trailer that they showed at the PlayStation, Sony PlayStation conference. And my general thought is everyone in the world is going to be very happy with this game. Though I think there are a couple things to nitpick.
Sure, yeah, it's definitely a heavy focus on the Batmobile, which I was a little nervous about, just because I'm a big Batman fan, and like the huge action wasn't really that appealing to me. When the Batmobile transformed and started strafing and shooting missiles, I was like, okay, I don't, that's not really what I think of when I think of Batman. Maybe he does that every now and then, but so I was a little wary of how the Batmobile stuff would work. Didn't get to do so much open world stuff like they demonstrated in that gameplay trailer. He just soars all over the place. It was limited because I had mission objectives at a very specific spot.
What were your mission objectives?
So the Arkham Knight had a military, and I think it's the first time Batman is talking to both Gordon and Oracle, and shows up at this area and realizes that the Arkham Knight has like a militia, and actually discovers the name Arkham Knight for the first time. And he's like, Arkham Knight? Well, why does he call himself that?
He's like, that'd be a good name for me.
Exactly. So he goes in, and they demonstrate one new item, which when you Batarang, when you throw it, it'll circle the location that you're at, and then you can use the camera to try to lock on to different audio waves and find people. So there were 5 hostages that I had to find.
So that's more of a detective tool?
Yeah.
The detective side of Batman?
Yeah, it's not
a combat tool.
It's a light puzzle, It's just it's kind of like lock picking, It's just like move something around until you see the sensitive area and then hit a button. But it was fun, and it was in engine, so you got to see this kind of like get a bird's eye view of this area circling around. But the Batmobile was very fun. At the center of why the Batmobile was fun is I played it on PlayStation 4, and the L2 button was moved you into battle mode if you held it down. So it actually kind of reminded me of the cool Transformer games that we got. Not the new one that's coming out, but the first 2, War of Cybertron, Age of Cybertron. I can't remember. Because you could transform in midair. So if you were a car, you could like drive off a cliff and then transform in midair, land, and start shooting. And you can basically do that. So if you go off a jump, and then you hold down L2, like when you land, you'll be in battle mode, and then you can start shooting stuff up. It moves really fast. You even have it strafes, and you even have like kind of a burst move, so you can shuffle quickly if somebody shoots something at you. They explain how you don't kill people, that like anything that's a tank is a drone, and then immediately when you aim at a person, it'll deploy non-lethal rounds.
That's the nitpick, the Batman nitpick right there.
I was looking maybe for like rope that wouldn't wrap them up, but it just straight knocks them out. But yeah, I'm not sure what happens when you run them over. I didn't get a chance to do that. Looks gorgeous. Definitely, they were playing up the weather in the demo. There's lots of rain. It was at night. You were right by the ocean, so there's lots of waves. I could definitely see like the whole city in the background, but I couldn't get there.
Did you run into the Arkham Knight when you were playing?
At the end, I see him kind of in a distance, and at the end, he showed up in a helicopter, and Batman gets back in the Batmobile, and you're like, ooh, I could fight him on the ground while he was in a helicopter, but then it cut out. So it's like,
thanks for playing.
Just to tease you. One of the other thing that's fun about the Batmobile is you can do stuff in the Batmobile independent of Batman. So they have a new before all of his gadgets were
you mean
up,
if
down,
he's not
left,
in
right.
the car? You mean?
Yeah, if he's not in the car.
Okay, like remote control.
Yeah. So previously, all of his gadgets were up, down, left, or right, and just kind of like different. You would tap like left on the D-pad twice to get to a weapon on the outside of the grid. And now it's a circle select menu, and at the very bottom is the Batmobile. So if you're there was couple puzzles I had to do where there was like an elevator that was broken, and so the Batmobile grapple hooked the elevator, and then I pulled it in reverse and actually like moved Batman up and down in a building, and you can see where Batman is. And so that's kind of fun if you're just roaming around the city and you jump out and get your little propelled rocket shot with Batman, and you get to go do a mission. And then once you get back down to the streets, you hit the L1 button, call the Batmobile, which will automatically drive to where you are. And you do
that stylish little animation.
Just automatically. You don't even have to jump or anything. You just stand there and he does it.
Was there loading when you went into buildings, or was it seamless?
I think it was seamless. I can't remember.
I think that's what they're. Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to hoist
I can't
up.
remember if there was any loading in the demo, but
did you get more of a? Okay, so you've played all the Batmans. Did you get more of an Asylum, City, or Origins feel from kind of going through the motions? I know the car is totally new, but still.
Definitely a city vibe. I think they're kind of past Asylum. It was. I'm excited about. There was one sign that I started freaking out about because I could clearly read the language and it was handwritten. And I was like, oh, what does that say? And it didn't say anything. I totally thought it was an Easter egg. But I remember there were lots of fun Easter eggs that were crammed into all the previous Arkham games. And because it's now a new generation, that stuff's a little bit crisper. So I can imagine they can like put some little Post-it notes here and there and hide those secrets a little better. The destruction was really great. There was a lot of the Batmobile grappling onto something and then throw it in reverse and pulling a wall off, and it wasn't just like, you know, it would just clank off. Like you could actually see like all the little pieces of concrete crackle and the supports like loosen up. I like that when you're holding down R2 to make the Batmobile go, the Y button or this triangle button on the PS4 controller turns on the jets in the back, so it's like a totally independent button. So like I like that, kind of like in Wolverine games, so you can like manually make his claws go in and out.
Is steering
like,
pretty? They're not trying to add any sort of sim level to this, right? Like steering is pretty easy.
They call
like
it
Mario Kart style drive.
They call it pursuit mode and battle mode. So if you're not holding down L2, it'll just drive like a normal car, and then if you're holding down L2, it'll go into battle mode. And battle mode's actually a nice way if you're going really fast and you're going to take a corner and it's a little tighter than you expect. You can just switch into battle mode and it'll stop the car on a dime. So.
Yeah, no, I saw on all their banners at E3, they all had hashtag pursuit mode or hashtag, and I was like, okay.
Hashtag pursuit mode's a little rough.
And then battle mode, are you like voting for your mode? Maybe they had a reason. I thought it was kind of dorky, but my kind of dorky.
Pursuit mode was way better. I mean, it's like...
Did you do any hand-to-hand combat?
Hashtag grappling hook, I don't know. Did I do what? I'm sorry.
Did you do any of the traditional like hand-to-hand combat?
Yes, they had a lot of they simplified a lot of things. I was way too quick for the guy, so I would get to a ledge and he'd be like, now what you and I would have already killed everybody. So he wanted to demonstrate some things that I didn't
Were you fighting
actually...
melee dudes or guys with guns?
Both.
Was guns still, you have to be a little more careful, a little more stealthy?
And one way you can take care of that is they now have fear takedowns. So if you go into a room and there's 3 guys in the room and you grab one guy, then everyone else will be so stunned by you doing that you can... It's kind of like Splinter Cell, you know how he marks them in advance and then can shoot them when he goes into the room automatically. Yeah. So if you grab one guy and then highlight someone else in the room and then tap the button when you're highlighting them, you can immediately... I think it's 3 max. So even if there's a room of like 10 guys, you know you can get those 3 guys in the center.
I like that idea of kind of all the Arkham games had that where you had the BPMs. Like once they see you, they're always agitated. But the idea like they're more like people. Like, you know, if you're messing with their psyche, I enjoy that.
Combat's fun. There was lots of new weapons, lots of fun bladed weapons that you could steal from guys. It was like riding a bike. All the combos I was doing, I was cracking the guy up because I was like grappling hook weapons out of people and like throwing them. There's a finishing move you can do with the Batmobile where you knock him up and the Batmobile shoots a rocket and takes him out.
Wait, what do you mean knock them up?
You like hit them up in the air.
Oh, you punch them.
Yeah, if you're within eye shot of where the Batmobile is, if you're in line of sight. And you can shoot out of the Batmobile and into buildings. So if you get to a building and you have to like get into the 3rd floor, you'll see the 3rd floor targeted, and I think you hit X twice, and he'll literally just fly straight from the Batmobile in there and immediately like hop on the first guy, and you can automatically start fighting. If you're gliding, you can also go straight into vents. So if you're gliding and you see a vent coming, he'll go straight into the slide and into the vent.
Now, I know you didn't say you did too much of the open world, but do you get a sense of how big the city is?
It said 5 times bigger. It seemed,
than
like I said,
City.
Than City.
Okay.
Or than any map that they've done, I guess. Than the biggest map, which might be Origins, but I'm not sure.
But they didn't do Origins, so it's
yeah, it looked absolutely beautiful. Looked really great. I think my 2 favorite visual bits, although Gordon was like 80 for some reason. Gordon was like super old, and like I don't know if Gordon's going to make it through this game. But when you were talking to Gordon in Oracle, he had him on, it's kind of like Dead Space, where he had him on a projection above his wrist, and you could rotate the camera. So it was kind of fun to like, you know, like see Gordon's face on the other side if you like swap the camera around. And his cape looks so good when he like stretches it out, and the rain was on it, and so you could see like the slick on whatever the heck his cape is made out of. And the Arkham Knight seemed cool. They're definitely playing up, like it's someone. I mean, it's not going to be like, you know, Jim from accounting. It's going to be like Nightwing or you know, like I don't know, somebody like Joker's kid.
He's got an axe to grind, right?
Yeah, and then they specifically have a moment where he's like, "Don't shoot him in the chest. That's where he's most heavily armored. Like, aim for the kneecaps and something." Like, he's definitely strategized, and he knows like all of his secrets, all his weapons.
You know, it's interesting because we've already had the Hugo Strange and the Hush characters kind of show up, and I think they said Hush is going to be in this one too.
Cool.
So the characters that really get into get the other side of Batman, which is the Bruce Wayne side, right?
Yeah.
That's always been interesting. I think it is interesting. I haven't really thought on this too much, but he is calling himself the Arkham Knight, and Arkham means the asylum.
Yeah.
Right? But he also has kind of I thought he kind of had a vigilante mode, but maybe that's not true. It sounds like you said he had the henchmen and stuff.
I'm hoping, if this is going to be Rocksteady's last game...
Or is he a vigilante?
I don't know. He's a little bit of both. That's the question.
So there's not a solid vibe yet.
Hashtag criminal or vigilante.
What I'm making a lot of mouth farts.
What I'm hoping is they pull an MGS4 Shadow Moses where you go back to Arkham at the end of the game and you have like the big fight. And
if Kyle was here, he'd say, "Are you going to bet on that?"
Yeah, exactly. You know, and everything's all exploded and ruined, and there's like hints and shadows and echoes of the first game, and maybe a couple people are still there. But like so many games, like didn't care about Assassin's Creed Unity. Now I can't wait. Didn't care about, like, was kind of actually down on Batman, and now I'm just like losing it. You know,
you were down on Batman because that like car trailer was
because the city was empty and I just didn't know what they were doing. Like, yeah, you have this new character, but what does that mean?
Do you feel like the city's alive enough for you now?
Alive is not the word I'm using, because again, that's like, it would be alive to me if there were people there. Okay. I did actually encounter a lot of people. I saved some people, and they did the classic like, "Wow, thanks, Batman. You want to go down the hallway over there?" So like, you do talk to people in Gotham. I would just love, you know, to see big crowds like, get out of the way, here comes the Batmobile, and you don't get any of that.
You run into any stray Riddler challenges or any little sub-objectives?
It was all very, very focused on on that. Yeah, those are the only characters I bumped into.
You jump into the menus at all? See anything cool there?
Just to invert the controls. That was about it.
You're an inverter?
I'm an inverter. But yeah, they didn't really get into that so much. I had that one gadget that I used, but I think the leveling up system is probably the same thing. You know, you just you have your different very specific abilities that you can just purchase, and then you have them.
Using detective vision a lot of
definitely use
weird...
detective vision. I'm trying to think if they had any cool things. There's so many
though,
scanning things. Like Advanced Warfare has that grenade that scans stuff. I'm like, did they have any weird advances to that? I think yeah, it was just pretty much detective mode as usual.
You think we saw in that demo that crazy dive? We've never seen Batman go that high, unless they did in Origins. I didn't play Origins. That's the tallest we've seen Batman go.
Oh, there was one thing that
you think Batwing?
Maybe
could be in there.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be a fun thing to reveal at Comic-Con.
Having just played Watch Dogs and there being helicopters, not being able to drive the helicopters.
Yeah, that's gonna be a Comic-Con.
You know, in GTA when you get the plane, for the first time in GTA, you're like, let's do this. You know.
Yeah, that's a pretty good call. They actually had one thing. I couldn't get it to work, but they have in the first game you could just grapple to stuff, and in City they added after a while, if you grapple and then you hold down the A button while you're grappling, you'll do like the rocket jump, you know, so you can just glide across the city.
Yeah, that's like the advanced technique, right?
And now they have kind of like how Assassins now has like downward momentum. They have this upward thing where you can keep pressing A and keep grappling like up a building. But like everything else, I was just in too much of a damn hurry, and I just kind of skipped right past the part where he told me to do it.
So definite purchase for you.
Yeah, and again, I was a little wary of where the franchise was going to go.
You love open world and you love Batman.
Love open world, love Batman.
The best Batman, you think?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's just seems really polished. Everything. I played Origins last year. Way bigger demo, way more polished. Definitely seemed.
Wait, which one was more?
This
polished?
One was.
Oh,
yeah, this definitely seemed like a bigger, more important moment of the game that they showed. Definitely seemed more polished. And just gorgeous, if I haven't said so already. Just very shiny, everything. I definitely wanted to run out into that city. I just wish people were there. But Batman's there, and that's all that matters.
Batman Underoos.
Very good. And Kevin Conroy's back.
There is no savior. No more hope. No more Batman.